We're now in the third calendar year since the Sydenham to Bankstown line has been closed for conversion to the southwest extension of the M1 Sydney Metro. And I dropped into Sydenham and was genuinely surprised to find the platforms open, complete with signs promising a metro service to Bankstown. Who would have thought? Well, not quite yet, still testing. But things are certainly moving. So let's take another look along the line. And this is video captured over the last 8 weeks, with works continuing right along the line, with substantial work at Canterbury, Punchbowl, and big progress at Bankstown. More of all of that in a bit. Hi, I'm Marty, and welcome to Backtracks. And just a reminder, to build the Bankstown Metro extension, the T3 line was closed in September 2024 for what was meant to be 12 months, but today is 18 months, to convert from driver-operated trains to driverless metros. And who would have thought we'd be waiting so long and Backtracks would be making so many videos on the line? So let's start at the start of the line at Sydenham. And now I don't usually pop into Sydenham because, frankly, there's not much to see, but while visiting the Batch Brewery just up the road, great beers by the way, I thought I'd just have a quick look at Sydenham Station. And I'm glad I did. I was fortunate to see a metro that was about to do a test run full of IBCs that are full of water to simulate full passenger loads. There are 106 IBCs on the train, each with 1,000 litres, and that simulates the weight of about 1,500 passengers. So far, this IBC train has travelled more than 500 kilometres along the line. So heading west, we head to Marrickville. I'm not sure what's going on here, but not much at platform level. Mostly when I get to Marrickville, it's all about leaves, and that's no exception this time. But the tiles are complete along the platform screen doors. I think really this station's just waiting for trains to restart. And we get to Dulwich Hill, and sometimes the gods just smile on you. Just as I pulled up to Dulwich Hill, got out of my car, opened my phone, and I filmed this, the money shot. And I believe this was the train I saw earlier at Sydenham. More than 1,200 hours of the required 9,000 hours have been completed up to speeds of 100 kilometres an hour. And that is about 13,000 kilometres of the required 30,000 kilometres of testing. Gosh, we're only just over 1/3 of the testing required. And popping back in February, we can now film from the southern side of the station because a new public plaza has opened at Dulwich Hill. According to the government, it's a 1,200 square metre plaza, which will provide a better connection between the station, the light rail station, and the nearby bus stops and Main Street, which is incidentally the suburb of Marrickville. Now back to the station. Late last year, there was quite a bit of steel work on the platform, and that has now been erected to provide overhead covering for people accessing the elevator. Next stop, Hurlstone Park. And the first thing to note is the weeds in front of my usual vantage point are definitely getting higher. Hurlstone Park was one of the ones that looked like they were nearly finished fastest, but yet not much has happened in many months, and now they're catching up. At Canterbury, surrounding works continue with landscaping being completed and more electrical work. And I think this is the first time I'd seen a metro parked at Canterbury, the one filled with the IBCs of water. And the first train now filled with water. Apparently there is a second train that has now joined the testing fleet on the metro line as it's ramping up. And when I visited the next time, there was plenty going on at Canterbury. It looked like the line was closed for the weekend so they could have track possession. And there was lots of work going on, such as putting down, I was going to say bitumen, but people don't like when I say that, asphalt, in the ramp down from the station entrance building to the platform. And still plenty of work going on the platform screen doors here. Apparently, only 80% of the testing has been complete of the doors along the line. I think we'll skip Campsie this time. No. Are there any Campsie fans in the house? Yeah, that's a little bit off positioning for Backtracks. I promise I'll be more normal going forward. Not a lot happening at the station at Campsie, but it is a great place for train spotting. Either there is a metro parked here overnight at the western end of the station, or in this case, a good view of the comings and goings of one of the test trains. Belmore, that's one of my favourite stations because I can get such a great vantage point. Not much going on at the moment, other than to report it looks like all the tiling has been completed. Now on to Lakemba. I visit here a lot, and you know what? I don't always show the footage because I just can't see much is happening. And again, the tiling's complete, as it was one of the last times I visited. This is a station that looks like there's not much else to do before the station can reopen. Apparently, the work to upgrade the 10 stations across the line is at its final stage, with 80% of the overall construction being complete. So, as I can see, and officially what Sydney Metro is saying, the teams are focused on installing all the signage. That looks like it's pretty much done. And the tiling of the platforms. Yeah, there's still more to do on that. And testing and commissioning of the platform screen doors and the mechanical gap fillers is ongoing. And, they say, landscaping and streetscape work is complete. Similar situation at Wiley Park. All the fencing has been complete, but tiling is still underway. When visiting the line, I often pass by Punchbowl, as there's generally not much progress, and it's often hard to find a parking spot. But not this time, because I easily found a parking spot and discovered plenty of work in progress. Work is now focusing on groundworks and landscaping on the northern approaches to the station in Warren Park. And also work is being done on the station overhead building, with original features such as wooden windows having been installed. And work on awnings around the lifts, similar to what was installed up the line at Dulwich Hill, is also in progress. And now the last stop, as always, Bankstown. I've had a chance to visit Bankstown a few times this year, and each time there's been major new developments in the plaza, connecting the Sydney trains and metro buildings. In January it was raining, I think actually nearly the first time in all my visits, but that wasn't the most interesting part. The most interesting part was that the fencing around the site had come down, giving a great view right through the site, with just a rope stopping people entering the site. And it gave a good feel for what it will eventually look like. You could easily see that light poles had been installed, along with the big T and M signs. And then in February, the sun had come out, just in time for semi-grown trees to have been planted and security bollards installed. And these bollards are pretty substantial ones at that. And also extra things like passenger information screens. And by mid-March, the Metro's M signs had been covered over. I guess not to be revealed again until the line itself opens, whenever that may be. It looks like this plaza and the Sydney train's western end will be open to pedestrians and travellers very soon. I'm going to say even within a week or so. What gives me that impression is one, the site is now looking super clean, and they've built a wooden barricade or wall, I guess you could call it, at the entrance to the metro stop, suggesting that people will be able to walk right up to this point. And landscaping on the northern side also looks complete, as does the new bike shed. It all looks pretty good. And just before we finish up, it was announced just recently that since the CBD line opened, there's been over 100 million metro journeys, with the most popular station now being Martin Place, taking over from Central. And the most popular trip, Sydenham Station to Central Station, suggesting that once this Bankstown line opens, it's going to be super popular. And as normal, I hope you enjoyed this video, and please like and subscribe to BACKTRACKS.Trains if you haven't already, and hopefully we'll see you next time when we take another look at the growing Sydney Metro network. See you later.